Good morning. We're here with Karina Christensen. She's a real estate professional with Runnable Real Estate. She lives and works in Cerritos, and she's an expert in this whole area that includes Todos Santos and Pescadero. Thank you, Karina, for your time this morning. It's always good to see you and to speak with you.
Same here, Alejandro. Thanks for coming all the way up here and seeing us Cerritos Beach.
We're going to talk about something very special, which is your own project as a developer, which you do in partnership with your husband, Ron. It's something that we're all very excited about. It's been, you've been working hard at it for years now.
Yes.
My first question is, can you walk us through the history, just a brief history of the project and what where it stands right now?
Yeah, that's really great. Thanks. Yes, during COVID, my husband and I spent a lot of time down here in Cerritos and this area, and we happened to come upon this beautiful stretch of coastline right here on the Pacific between Cerritos Beach and Pescadero. Mm-hmm. And we realized that it's a large enough parcel that somebody could build something and, in our mind, ruin it forever, right? I mean, there's a lot of buildings here that don't quite fit the environment, and it was very important to us to retain the beautiful views that you have walking on the coastline road here, watching the whales. And so we decided we're going to go ahead and buy it and build something beautiful that matches the profile of the land. And it also was something that we wanted to build for ourselves because we really didn't find anything here yet where we wanted to call home. Mm-hmm. And so over the last 4 years, really, we have been working on getting all of our permits to be able to build Contigo Cerritos, which is our project. It's personal. We're building it for ourselves and some of our friends, but there will be a few houses that we're selling, and we're getting close to putting it out to the public.
Nice, congratulations. And it's beachfront, right?
It's beachfront. It's oceanfront, exactly.
Oceanfront.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because absolutely. We are right now. I'm pointing over there because that's where the parcel is, right?
Yes, right below us here, along this beautiful private little beach cove, and just north of the hacienda in Cerritos Beach.
Exactly. So over there, you can see, you can probably see the hotel, the hacienda. That's Cerritos Beach. Pescadero is that way, exactly. and we're like in a strip of beachfront right between.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, okay.
Exactly. And the architectural plan has changed, right? Because before it was you had one specific idea, and then after like 4 years working in the market and representing buyers and sellers in the market, you kind of fine-tuned the idea, right?
Yes, and really for most of those who are familiar with the areas, the market has changed dramatically. And we talked about that in our last video, that Cerritos has gone from an affordable place to buy a condo in the 150,000 to now we have clients coming here looking for a higher-end home. And really our biggest market right now is $1.5 million and up. Mm-hmm. And what we realized is that people that are now looking here want to have a larger home, oceanfront. We have a plethora of inventory here for 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos. What we don't have is beautifully designed single-family homes with 4 or more bedrooms. A lot of the buyers that we're bringing to this area are looking for a legacy property. They want their families to come and visit. They want to have a space where they can be laid back and shared with friends and potentially their kids and their grandkids. Mm-hmm. And so there is a lack of large homes for them to entertain. And so we didn't change the architecture at all, right. But we did decide to no longer provide condos, but build basically paired villas. So instead of having 4 units per building, there are now 2, and they're independent villas. Mm-hmm. And so we reduced the amount of units, which really also is something I've always felt strongly about, but we also created a much prettier product.
Why have you always felt strongly about that particular point?
You know, at the time when we started 4 years ago, there just was not the market that we have today. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to feel more of an intimate community with less people, right? It's just not, it's a much nicer to have a community of, a dozen people versus a lot more. Yes. And so we really I'm excited now that the market has met our vision. When we started out 4 years ago, this was not predictable. This market has changed so quickly. And so now we're in a market where we feel we have a product and a property that appeals to that kind of buyer.
Yeah, 4 years ago, like you were saying in our last video, it was like an explosion and everything was selling very fast and everyone was building very quickly. Yeah, and now like the dust has settled and you can see like patterns and you can see where it really stands, right?
Exactly, exactly.
What we've been talking about in our last videos is that Cerritos and the whole area in reality has been moving towards the higher end, right? But I think that we really haven't defined what higher end means apart from more expensive, right? But I think it's higher end or luxury means something very specific here, and it means something very specific in Cabo, and it means something very specific in like LA. But here it has its own flavor and look and feel. So what do you think about that? What does luxury mean?
I think I've been reading a lot. We've been trying to define what that is, and the best description right now out in the marketplace is quiet luxury, right? This is for people who are not interested in the exterior showing part of driving. What car are you driving? What shoes are you wearing? Here it doesn't matter because whatever car you're driving is going to be covered with dust. And the only shoes that are really like practical here are flip-flops. Yeah. So we're attracting a kind of buyer that has been very successful, but they're looking for something more authentic, more raw, something where they can still feel at one with nature. And so we call it quiet luxury. And it's changing very quickly here, but it has always been this way here. We've had farms and we've had people coming here to fish and to camp. And so it's always been about the nature here, not about who you are or what you have. And that's the trend that we're seeing right now.
Exactly. And when I was listening to you, I can see people over there walking or in that hill hiking, and just on a Friday morning, a work day, and they are enjoying the environment. And I guess that's a big part of that, right? But just walking out of your house and be able to look at the whales and or you were saying that last night you were woken up by two whales that were breaching right there.
Literally they were so close that when they breach it's this thump, and it was waking me up yesterday morning at 7:00 in the morning, and it was a mama and a baby whale right outside here. It's raw, it's the Pacific, it's what makes the space so special.
I'm sure that this idea of quiet luxury also led you to choose one particular architect over another, and like it has helped you make decisions. Yes. So can you tell us about the architect? So
yes, exactly. The architects I met as I was working on a project in downtown Denver, and what I loved about them is that they're an international architect based out of Mexico. They now have an office in Barcelona. They have received accolades and first place prizes for their sustainable approach. And what we loved when we brought them here first, we gave them two limitations. We said, we don't want you to build anything above the road so that we can retain the view sheds for not just the neighbors, but for anybody who walks along this road. And we wanted it to be low impact. And when we started talking about how this would look like, one of the biggest components was that we build sustainably. And for me, that is responsible development. Is we did not want to have to rely on the local water supply. We wanted to make sure that we created our own water on site. And so we have a water generation plant built in. We also didn't want to waste that water. And so we have filtered gray water to water our plants. All of our common areas are going to be powered by solar. Our homes have solar panels for backup. As we know, the infrastructure isn't quite mature yet here. And we wanted it to be responsible for the future and the future generations. And these architects were all over that and have really helped us design something that is low impact and also low density. The design follows the curve of the hill, so it's not just a big monolith sitting there, but it really follows the flow of the land, and the materials are sourced so that it blends in with some of the environment, the rocks and all of that.
And it has to be durable, right? Because you were talking about how your buyers are interested in this being a legacy.
A legacy property.
What do you mean by that, by a legacy property?
I think a lot of what our buyers anymore are looking for is something that lasts, right? We've all had things that it's great now, and then in 10 years from now, it doesn't look great. Our buyers, when they're investing this kind of money, they want something that lasts. And not just for, not just in the building of it, but also something that provides a legacy for them and their children, having great experiences, being able not to have to worry about, or is there going to be water in 20 years, right? We don't have to worry about what the power grid does. So the sense of knowing that you're going to be fine 20, 30, and even 50 years from now, that was really important to us.
That's where the luxury industry in general and sustainability meet, because it's not disposable, right? Like a fine luxury item, be it like a beachfront condo, a beachfront property, or a watch, or it's something that you inherit, you pass it on, it becomes like a family tradition, a heirloom, and it's not something that you use once and you throw away, right?
Exactly. And I think this is where this movement is going. This quiet luxury movement is going back towards the things that matter, right? And what are the things that last? And to your point, not something that's disposable and doesn't look in 10 years, looks like it should be torn down. Exactly.
Can we talk about pricing yet of the units that you have?
Yeah, we can. They're going to start right around $3 million. Okay. They're not on the MLS yet. We're just about to get there, but we have all of our permits finally. That has taken us over 3 years to make sure we have every permit in place that is required, and it will be here on the market here in the next month.
Okay, and part of the project is sold out, right?
Well, we only have 8 homes available to sell.
In total?
In total.
Okay.
Because the rest are taken up by us and some friends.
Okay.
This is a personal project. So we only have 8 homes that are open to the public.
And it's not like they're making more
No, they're not making more beachfront. We're not doing another phase. This is it. Like this is it, right? And as you look here, this stretch of land, everything here has been sold, and you've already seen last time you visited us last summer, there is construction going on almost every piece of property, and there is just no more.
Exactly. Yeah, in a matter of months, you come back and you see things that that's new. That's new.
It's moving very, very quickly here.
You're really taking into account the shape of the land. Sometimes you see buildings that are bigger than the hill that they're on, and that's really like, it becomes an eyesore.
An eyesore,
right? So
absolutely. And listen, if we could afford to have bought this whole land and just put our house on it, would have been great. But I have to tell you, I love living in a community. I don't want to be isolated on a big piece of property. I'd rather share something that's so special and beautiful with other people. It's not like I'm going to build a big wall around my house and keep it all to myself. The idea was always, let's share this with others so that they can enjoy it as well.
We'll leave it for now, Karina. I look forward to our next conversation. And thank you very much, as always.
Great.
Karina Christensen, thank you.
Great. Thanks, Alejandro. Always a joy to talk to you.
Likewise.